Yay! Let's hear. Oh, there I am. Let's hear a big round of applause for Big D.
Cup of awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Wow, I was in a like so mood. Now I'm like in a great mood. You guys make people happy. And can you believe all these years, all these freaking years, and you've never been on the show before?
Yeah.
What is that about? What happened?
I at least know the first time I dialed on to AAF. I was in 7th grade, and I put it on because someone told me they were playing good music, and I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, I'm really listening to, like, real adult stuff.
A
Like,
7th grade.
Yeah.
You were
So
7th.
it's great to be here.
That is so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Did you call me? Did you call?
Oh, funny enough, I did call the station to
Aw.
request my middle school band and realized that you couldn't just arbitrarily say a band name and they would seek out the demo tape.
Oh, that's right. A lot of people still don't get that. And talk right into that mic,
Oh, yeah,
right
sorry.
up close. Yeah.
Sorry.
So here you are, and it's so great to see you all.
Yeah, thanks.
I love that. Our studio's so full, but you just fit in so well.
Yeah, how many is there? 2, 4? There's almost 10 of us.
I know.
Yeah.
And I must say, you're probably one of the best looking bands. In
Oh,
Boston.
nice.
Yeah.
Seriously.
A bunch of
And-
kids that look like the dork in 16 Candles love hearing that.
Yeah. And it's just fabulous. And what have you been up to since I think I saw you quite a while back at some social gathering or some show. What's going on with you with Big D and the Kids Table?
We've actually had quite a bit. We through Kickstarter we put out 2 records. One being more of our like ska, thrashy, heavy stuff and lively stuff, and one of them more of our stroll, which is a style of music we're trying to invent and develop, which is more like just kind of like hopscotch, double Dutch rhymes and. Just more of our normal style, but a little softer, a little bit more eclectic, outside the box. So that's called Stroll. So we put out double record on our own, and that was really fun to do because it was financed by our listeners. And then we went pretty deep into China on our own, just kind of figuring it out, touring in China. And now our front burner news is our DVD of 17 years just arrived at my house yesterday. Yeah, and I just gave people copies for the first time today.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so we just did that. Yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, we're doing specialty shows inspired by Iron Maiden. Where we've been a band for so long that we have different albums that people gravitate to more. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start playing, albums. Start like the whole album in order.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going to do like special feature shows, so it'll bring different people out that are into
different generations.
Great
like,
idea.
Our listeners are really awesome. They definitely have torches and pitchforks of this is the greatest, this is the better record, and
people are very adamant about,
but very equal. Like if they all went to war with each other, I don't even know what the outcome would be.
Big D Wars.
yeah.
Big D album wars.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of fascinated by your time spent in China. What was that like?
Well, we definitely had always tried. We didn't get the fortunate thing where certain bands would be taken to Japan after they did pretty well. But we had to kind of book our own tour in Japan, and it took us 10 years, literally 8 and 10 years to just get enough contacts and get enough money and finally get there. And what I meant before was a lot of bands just get scooped up and brought there. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm just trying to show how hard it was to get there. And when we were working it out, China got put on our plate, and we just DIY'd it and went deep about halfway in, and it was outrageous touring, outrageous living, everything on your back. I think we were all carrying more than 150 pounds at any time, just all the gear, all subways, trains, overnight trains, and it was pretty much the craziest experience of our lives. Yeah,
I know.
And now we're going to Southeast Asia just in a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is the stuff. I mean, we know all the bands. Japan's pretty mainstream for performances, but when you said China, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and deep in there. To the point where people definitely, we had to just take pictures with children just because we were a bunch of silly looking Americans. They like people would hand us their babies and kids and be like, "You guys, we just don't see a lot like you very often. Can we just take pictures of you?" So it was funny. I said to the guys, I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, the amount of reactions we've got just by entering a room or a subway station. I'm gonna walk into a mall in Boston and be like, huh? Look at me, I'm here." And people will be
I
like,
know.
people will be like, well, not because of the band, just because you're an American. You know, like it was such a like, wow, how are you real? You know, like.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it
And
was-
so, didn't you feel kind of like a zoo animal or something?
Yeah,
like,
very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was hilarious. People would bump into each other, like literally bump into each other, and it was such a happening just to be standing near people that it was like your own little Beatles mania in your back pocket.
What kind of venue did you book the shows?
All
there?
encompassing, every
Okay.
kind of different place. Yeah.
So you did
From festivals to just like a teeny weeny squat to a proper bar because China just started through Bad News Records from Japan. China is just getting rock and roll venues.
Wow.
The first one was in Beijing, and we played one of their first shows. And they're just building it and having a normal scene quotes.
the things we take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely, and everyone's so nice and they treat you so well.
That's really
Yeah.
and so you were when you say deep.
DIY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were just places that there were.
Making it work. They're all like the forefront people making their, hey, we're gonna have punk rock, hey, we're gonna have rock and roll, and playing with the bands, and I mean they're all being the firsts to be doing all those
That's
things.
pretty amazing unto
Yeah.
itself. So you built bridges there and
Yeah.
bonded with people that are just starting out, and
Yeah.
they're doing all of this without anybody. They're
Absolutely.
just digging the road as they go.
Absolutely, yeah. And we hope to go back and do the same thing again. But Southeast Asia is next. We go to Southeast Asia and Australia, and we're pretty excited about Southeast Asia because the way we look at some things is if we weren't in this band, none of us would really have the collateral to the money to go and just vacation in these places and have a
Absolutely.
swell old time. So the culture is only available to us because of the band and the music and working hard to try to just get there.
So when is your Southeast Asia trip?
I think it's
coming
next
up?
month. Huh?
Was it the end of April?
Yeah. Just
Wow.
coming up. Yeah.
That's
We're
right
just
around
battening
the
down the
corner.
hatches for it. Yeah.
When did you get back? When did you do China?
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
Just about a year ago.
how long?
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
We did like 14 cities
Okay.
But
in,
more
in
travel.
China. So
Did you, when you got there, were you kind of booking shows when you were there, or did you have them pre-booked?
No, but we were showing up to promises of promoters of cars that weren't there. Like meaning, that there was this big old joke of showing up to a city and being like, well, we're supposed to, we're basically every plan, every was just didn't happen. So you
Wow.
just, if you had to think about Boston, it was almost like we had to walk to Gloucester from Boston to shows, if you know what I mean, or to Salem at
Whoa,
least. Like it was,
right.
it was some
It's
great.
intense.
It was great living, and you didn't great meaning like you get to see how far and hard you can go, and you didn't even realize you were doing it so tough until you got home and got in your bed and took a nice shower, and then you were like, "Geez, that was tough."
Yeah. That's always the way. We just do what we have to do, and then later on we collapse and
Yeah.
say, I don't believe I did that.
And you're just proud to be there. Like I said,
Right.
like if it wasn't for the band, we wouldn't be going there. You know what I mean? And meeting the people and
Did you were you able to document any of it on film?
yeah, we have a bunch. Yeah,
Really? I was
such good
almost
stuff.
afraid to ask because I was thinking, what if they didn't and they're kind of upset, or maybe their cameras got
Well,
taken
we had
away
weird
or
things
whatever,
like-
but
Yeah, we got denied from some hotels because people thought we were journalists. They
Yeah.
thought we were lying
Yeah.
about being in a band, and they were like, they're remember that whole thing with journal? They're like they're journalists, and we're shutting down journalists from hotels. There was a lot of being turned away because
there's an element
we
of
didn't fit
paranoia.
the shape. Yeah.
Absolutely. So are you planning on doing anything with that footage that you've taken there?
It's funny. It's because the DVD just came out. It's funny that you asked that. I just put it on a hard drive, and that was my I'm going to do it. I was going to edit it personally on the next tour, but at this moment, I was just like, stay away from me. Because, you know, if anybody who does film editing knows it's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
Yeah.
I
But
want to
yes.
see it.
Oh,
I
it's
want to
great.
know. You have to keep me posted
Overnight
on this.
trains.
I know. And if you get this, you've got a lot of footage, so you
Yes.
could actually put a mini documentary together on
Absolutely.
this whole thing, and with a narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be amazing.
Maybe somebody out there wants to edit it.
there are people. There are folks.
We've got the footage.
I know. We're talking to Big D and the Kids Table here on WAAF Bay State Rock, and wow. And how long are you going to be in Southeast Asia for? You've got a tour coming up next month.
The whole tour is about a month.
Okay.
Right?
I think
Yeah.
it's oh sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's about 8 days of Asia. We get to go to Hawaii, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And then we're going, and so after we get to Asia, we're gonna decompress, and then we go to Australia for like 8 days.
Oh.
And then
Hug
we-
a kangaroo for me, will you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hug a kangaroo. That's gonna happen.
I'm gonna nosedive into the pouch.
But we're going to Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore for sure. So,
Whoa.
and a possible jaunt to the Philippines.
But which is funny is
That's a lot of traveling.
It's
Oh, yeah.
it's like the band's been together since 95, 96, and we're just starting to do these things. Like we're just starting to go to Australia, and I guess what I'm saying is, you know, anybody who's in a band out there who doesn't necessarily have like the connections or the hookups that they wish, you can do it. I mean, it takes a little while, but you can do it. Just I mean, I hate to have the Star Spangled Banner playing in the background, but just don't give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because so many people do give up that if you're one of the people who don't give up, then you're the one still in the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you've been very active. I mean, before all of this extensive travel, you guys did a lot of extensive touring around America.
220 shows a year.
So, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you played more out of town than you played in Boston.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you got to be careful. I mean, I mean, you probably know best, but it's like a lot of Boston bands have the fear of leaving.
I know.
And they always kind of think that people are just going to show up and put wonderful down comforters all around them and, you know, make them feel comfy. But they have to get out there. I mean, it's a little curse with Boston that people are scared to tour.
They're afraid to
And
tour,
you
yeah.
gotta tour. I mean, it's you can be the head. You could sell out local clubs as much as you want, but you got to be brave enough to go to places that don't care who you are.
Rick Barton recently of Continental, it was like one of his things, you know, the Facebooks and people come
Yeah.
up on your feed. And Continental have been, you know, Rick was with the Dropkicks and then with the Outlets way back when you were just a toddler. But, and he's got Continental now. That's his latest band. And he made a comment that really rang true and probably stung a lot of bands that aren't touring. And he said, and you know, as much as it killed me to read that, programming local music and seeing so many bands from this area, he said, you're not a band unless you're touring, unless you're getting out there and you're traveling and you're
true.
playing and you're doing this 24/7. I mean, you can't really call yourself
Absolutely.
a professional band.
Well, I mean, to a band that tours, like you were saying, so much, it's like the audacity for a band to want to be looked at as great and wonderful in their hometown, but too scared to go out there. And I mean, the only shows that I really adrenaline enjoy are the ones where you have to prove yourself. Like, I mean, just local guys, Dropkick Murphys. I mean, when we would hit the road with the Dropkick Murphys, it was during the time where the Dropkick Murphys had such wily fans that they would do the chant,
Right.
you know, for opening bands. And the best way to describe that is nobody wants to see a baseball game before the Red Sox. You know what I mean? So nobody wants to see a band play before the Dropkicks. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but what I'm getting at is it's those shows that you go out there and you have adrenaline and you're nervous and you want to make it work. That's exciting. The other shows are entertaining. Like if you just want to entertain, go ahead. But no, you got to go out there and get the adrenaline, just like your first show when you were young, and go, what if they don't like us? What if they don't like us?
Yeah.
What if they don't like us?
When that adrenaline is no longer there, it's time to throw the towel in.
Yeah,
Right?
and
It's
I think
over.
Boston bands gotta be brave and get out there and
All right.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the one thing that scares I think a lot of Boston bands or a lot of bands anywhere is that they're afraid of, some of them are settled in or whatever, and they're afraid to let go of that job. And, and
absolutely.
it's a scary thing, but then again, life is chances. It's fun. That's you make a choice and you do it.
Yeah,
right?
well, it's like if you're 30 and you're in a band in Boston, some people are like, "Oh, well, what
Isn't
are
that
you doing?" But if you're 30 in California or
Right.
any other place in the world, you're a spring chicken. And so I think, yeah, you're right that our culture kind of in Boston is kind of like, less. You can do it. Go do it.
What do you have coming up in Boston? Speaking of which, are you going to be doing a show here?
Yeah, we have, we do our Halloween shows every year. But before that, we're doing, I think at the end of May, we're doing a special show. Our first 2 records we're releasing on vinyl for the first time. So we're doing a show playing those 2 records like cover to cover.
In Boston? Wait a minute, though. You're leaving for how long are you going to be gone for on your travels?
We get back like mid-May.
Oh,
So the end
okay.
of May, we're going to do that.
For some reason, because it's so extensive.
Yeah,
I was thinking you were going to be gone for months.
It's a National
Wow.
Geographic expedition somewhere.
Yeah, I know. So it's another one of those panic things. You're
Yeah.
going to be squeezing everything in
Yeah.
very far away from home. Okay, so May is, you're looking at your next
Yeah.
show. Tell me about this. Do you have it set up or do you know where it's going to be? Or
I think it's going to be at the Paradise. Are you allowed to say that?
Okay.
It will be at the Paradise or the same people who own the Paradise.
Right.
So it'll be it'll be in that
Yeah.
in that area.
I
But
wish I could say I don't understand what you mean, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. We know pretty much when and where it's gonna happen, but I don't know that the ink is dry.
We're really
Which venue it will be at? Which
We were really excited because
specific?
we posted that we were thinking about doing it, and a lot of old schoolers are so excited. And these old schoolers, they have kids and they're old, but they just are so excited that we're going to play records from 1997 to 1999.
That's right. You're going to
Yeah.
be doing the record thing
Yeah.
too. And where can folks reach you if they want to find their favorite album, or do you have a website with your music and your
Yeah.
information?
Yeah, I guess like our Facebook or our website.
Big D and the Kids
iTunes.
Table, right?
.com,
Okay.
BigDandTheKidsTable.com, and yep,
All
Big
right.
D, yeah, we're all over.
You're everywhere. and your new record, you have a double record coming out.
Yeah, it came out the summer, and one's called Stomp and one's called Stroll, so it's Stomp and Stroll.
Okay.
And like I was kind of saying, Stomp's more like the ska punk, and Stroll is the Stroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are brand new, and folks can get them at bigd.com.
Yeah.
Big D and the KidsTable.com.
Yeah, and put out by us. And what's really cool is our first records were put out by us by ourselves such a long time ago that it's so fun to kind of have it come back around. And again, we're doing it by ourselves, and it just feels great.
Wow. And
Yeah.
all this on the backside of coming back from China and all of that. I mean,
Yeah, we're
so-
just doing
wow.
so much back to doing it by ourselves. And, the one thing to remember is no one's going to work harder for you than you. And we are doing that once again.
I hear you. It's so great to see you
Thanks.
back and around, and
Yes.
I'm honored that we caught you in between two
Yeah.
very, very long journeys that you're taking on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Thank you,
much,
guys.
Big D and the Kids Table. Let's hear a big round of
Hey,
applause.
yeah.
And I wish you the best of luck and come back.
Thanks.
Now that we've broken the ice here.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like you have to travel all the way across the world to, to come here and be on the show.
Well, we're all going back to the rehearsal space. You guys can all sleep over.
Okay, Slumber Party. A big thanks to Big D and the Kids Table. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with some more Bay State rock for you in just a couple of moments here on WAAF.